Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a brand new episode of LEGO Marvel's Avengers Customs video. And today, I can't believe it, guys, but we're actually going to be completing the team that is known as the Ninjago main roster. So at this point, we've already created whom? Let's think about it. We created Cole, we created Jay, we created Zane, we created Kai, and we created Lloyd. But today we're going to be creating the female character of the team, and that will be Nia or Nia. I'm not really sure how you pronounce her name specifically, but we'll be creating her. And we're also going to be creating Emmet from the Lego movie, because a lot of you guys wanted to see, apparently, an Emmet character design. So we're going to attempt it. We're going to see if we can actually pull it off, and hopefully we come up with somewhat of a decent looking Emmet character. Now, with that being said, of course, if you guys enjoyed today's customs video, don't forget to drop a like. And yes, we did start things off on the helicarrier, which seems like something that I don't think I've ever done before, so for the customs video. So there we go. We don't have to actually jump pad our way over here. We can just start right at the helipad. But as I was mentioning before, of course, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, drop a like. Let's aim for 2,000 likes. Hopefully we can reach that goal eventually. And on top of that, I did want to go ahead and mention that if there are specific characters that you would like to see on a future episode, you can go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. And on top of all of that, as if that wasn't enough stuff to mention, I wanted to thank you guys for the support on the last video, because it was absolutely tremendous. Thank you so very much for enjoying it. Thank you for actually liking that Green Lantern design, or Green Lantern, I should say. For those of you that watched it know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was really cool, and thank you so very much for being so receptive and so kind in your reception of that particular video. So let's get rocking rolling here, and we're gonna begin with the Nia character design. So I think what we'll start with is probably alright, so this is a bit of an issue, because I had thought that they had this hairpiece in black, because that is the exact hairpiece that they use for Nia on many different occasions. Now, of course, keep this in mind. Nia has been seen in kind of like a samurai type armor as well. So we could maybe, I don't know, this wouldn't really work. I was going to say we could maybe use something like that for her, but I think that would be a little bit overkill, and it looks a little too ginormous and kind of out of place, to be honest. So I don't really see that design working particularly well, unfortunately. So with that in mind, we then have to improvise and work with what we have here. And it doesn't seem like we have any hairstyle like the one here in black color. We need that exact same hairpiece, but in black, and I don't see it anywhere. Unless if, of course, I've missed it, which is, I guess, possible, but sorry about the brief interruption here, guys. As I was saying, though, we need to figure out, what hairpiece to use here. I wonder if this one will look similar. No, that just looks a little off. That does not look correct at all. I wonder, you know what? I kind of am almost leaning towards this. Maybe this would kind of work in some regard, right? Let's see. If we change the color, I mean, we're going to give it a go, right? I mean, what do we have to lose? We're going to change it up and then see how it looks. And if it doesn't look good, we can always go to the brown hair color for accuracy, I guess. I mean, it's kind of weird, because we'd be trading accuracy of hairstyle, but we'd be trading it away for inaccuracy in hair color, so it becomes a little bit tricky as to what we should select. Now, with that being said, I don't even know what face to use. Maybe this one? I think she's got usually, though, like red lipstick. I'm pretty sure. Now I can't even remember, honestly. Nope, that would not work. That would not work either. I'm trying to see something that would match the design that we need. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe that, actually? That's better. There we go. All right, so I think that looks far, far better than what we had before. Now, again, we have several different designs that we could rely on. I mean, one of the armors that Nia wears is a lot, like, very, very bulky, and it's like a, you know, pretty much a samurai type outfit that has a lot of different colors. I mean, some of them I remember were like silver back in the day, like some of the old school designs. Then the more recent ones have kind of like dark greens and golds, or like beige and red, all these different designs. And that kind of makes this a lot more difficult in regards to what pattern of design do we go for. Because, for example, I know that she's had like costumes where there was like sleeveless designs, or of course the costumes that I just mentioned before, have a lot more complexity to them. So it becomes a little bit more tricky as far as selecting the right look for the character is very, 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 very crucial, obviously, but also very, very tricky with this character because there's so many different designs that we could go for that are available to us, except for the fact that obviously we need to have the color red pretty prominently displayed in this design, whatever it might be. So because of that, I'm kind of I'm trying to think here. Like, I wonder if we could change colors of like stuff like that. That would look probably pretty good. Again, we can't change colors unfortunately at the time or at this time. Even changing the color of this could look interesting actually. Like, imagine that in red. That would look really nice. Oh man. All right. I'm trying to see here what would work best out of what is available. I kind of almost wonder, how will this look? If we choose this, and then let's say we change the arms to be the plain kind of Lego yellow, like that. I mean, that's not terrible. Obviously, once we give her the katana swords, it would look better, and it would look a lot more complete. But I think the main issue I'm having right now is kind of deciding what look I want to go for, because there's so many different variations of her design. Like, there is, like, you know, for example, the look that we have right now is kind of like old school Naya with like the ones that had like the little daggers as her weapons and stuff. So this is kind of close to that, I guess, somewhat. That's kind of what we're going for. I almost think maybe this would look better and work better for the character. In fact, I kind of really like the way that looks, so we might go with that. We might also go with this, because I think that looks kind of nice, except for the fact that it's got blue on the sides. If it didn't have that blue, it would look so good. It would genuinely fit really, really, really well for this character. But, of course, we have the blue there, which obviously makes things kind of look bad. So, can't really use that. Oh, man. I really wanted to use that one, because that one looks really, really nice. Like, the front of it seems very, very fitting. This one would be cool too, but it's a little bit too plain on the front there, so it's obviously missing like an armor piece or something like that. As far as anything else, I mean, to me, honestly, it's between this right here. Ooh, actually, that kind of looks cool, doesn't it? Now, let me see. I actually kind of wonder, what if we come up with somewhat of a crossover between the different designs, right? Where it's kind of in between the two designs. I think that actually looks pretty sweet. And if we could get the legs to look cool, like for example, maybe these right here. That's a little too bright. That's got a little bit too much going on there. Kind of makes it a bit too confusing, I would say. Let's see. Are those too dark? They're kind of a little bit too dark. We could go with black, on maybe red on black. Maybe that would look kind of cool. Like maybe something like that. No, that's a little too many colors. It kind of starts to clash and look a little bit off. Oh, man. This is always a lot trickier than it seems. I always think to myself, oh, this will be so easy. This will be an easy one. And then I realize, nope, that wasn't easy at all. Ooh, I really like that. That's actually really good. So right now, that's kind of the #1 contender. I really like the way that looked. Let's see if there's anything that looks better. We could use this, maybe. Oh, that's a little too orangey. Maybe, I don't know, these ones? Nope. Again, too dark. Doesn't really work for what we're going for. Maybe these ones right here? Same. The red is a little bit too dark. You know what? I gotta say, we're going with those. I think we're going with these ones right here. I think it looks appropriate enough. We obviously, again, for accuracy's sake, if we're going for the all red costume, we probably would want to select something a bit more red in style, like maybe something like that, which doesn't look bad, by the way. But I think that since we're kind of mashing different designs together for her character here, I think that the overall choice here is pretty good. And I think that she looks quite awesome. So let's go ahead and give her her name, obviously. Going this way will be a lot faster. And then we just need to clear the rest of the letters. And that is the completed team for Ninjago, which, by the way, I will make a video showcasing the entire team because a lot of you guys were like, oh, please show them all together in one video. So I'll do that as well. Don't worry. That'll probably be up in the next day or two. So I hope that you guys will check that one out as well. So now that we completed the Naya design, let's get to working on our next design, which will be, oh, I forgot. By the way, I was pressing the random kind of assembly right here, and check out this cool character that came up. Like, look how awesome that is. I love the concept of having Ultron with the little, like, fedora hat. I think that is so cool. So much so that I really want to do some sort of, like, a Blitz armor that is, like, Noir Blitz or something like that with that top hat and everything. Or not top hat, sorry, the fedora hat, because I just really, really love the way that this design turned out. However, now we're going to be shifting our attention towards Emmet. So, here we go, guys. So for Emmet, it's kind of interesting because with Emmet, we have a bit of a conundrum here. And what I mean by that is that we kind of have to make a specific decision in regards to, do we go with the helmeted look, like where he's wearing a helmet, or do we go with the non-helmet look, or basically kind of the what is it called? Just like the hairpiece look. Because for the helmet, yes, it's true. We don't have the right colored helmet, but we do have a helmet, which is pretty cool. And I am kind of leaning towards using the helmet, not because it's easier to use and because it kind of covers up a lot of the design, but more so because we haven't really had any characters that have the helmet on. And of course, if you look at the actual helmeted Emmet, you'll see that there's also a little bit of hair that should be showing on him, which means that this would not be an accurate rendition of Emmet per se, but I think that we should still go with it because I think it just gives us something different and gives us a completely different design of a character that we haven't seen yet. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards that particular aspect. Now, of course, there's all these other Emmets that we could design in the future. We could do like Robo Emmet or like the Wild West Emmet. There's all these tons and tons of different looks that Emmet shows, whether it be in the film or just in tiny little scenes of the film. So if you guys want to see more variations of Emmet from the Lego movie, let me know, because that would certainly be something that I would be willing to try to put together if this one turns out well. So, all right. So let's do this thing. And I think that we'll go with just kind of the default smile for Emmet right now. And then again, in the future, we could adjust that furthermore. Now, the interesting thing is that we could go with... This is the tricky part right now, because I'm actually thinking about it. And it's kind of weird because in the film, Emmet sometimes has eyebrows and then other times he doesn't. So, like, in certain scenes, we see his eyebrows appear, and then in other scenes, he actually does not have any eyebrows. So, we could select between that, like, what we want to do with the character in terms of, do we want to just go with the eyebrow or the non-eyebrow look? Like, this would work perfectly because Butterball doesn't seem to have the eyebrows. The problem with it is that he's got that little extra chin thing, which just does not look very good for this character, so we can't really use that. Could we use the Eric Selwig design? Not really either. That's not really going to work, because it's got the little, like, wrinkle lines, which doesn't work for Emmet. I wonder if we could use the Hawkeye character design, especially because the helmet would be covering up a lot of that. So let's change the color, because I think we kind of, because we don't have the right color, it's a little bit more difficult to tell. Oh man, now I'm starting to think like maybe it would be better to just go with the hairstyle, which would probably select this one right here, because I think that's probably the closest to Emmet's hair, except for the little you know how he's got the little hair sticking up in the back. But no, I'm sticking with the helmet. I'm sticking with the helmet simply because I just think that the helmet is something that we haven't got to use at all so far, and I think that hopefully it will look cool once we finish the whole design. So let me just quickly once again survey if there's anything better that we could use. We could do like a confused Emmet with these eyes as well, because I remember there was a point in the film, remember, where he had that look on his face, so That could be funny, actually, if we did that at some point in the future. But for now, since we're doing our very first version of Mr. Emmet, I think maybe that actually... There we go. All right. I think that that's the most kind of Emmet-like expression that we've got right so far. All right. So the sleeves, since we're going for the construction worker Emmet, which was kind of like his default attire, I remember that the sleeves were distinctly blue. I don't know if they were that blue. I think they were. I think they were liquid blue. Maybe they were a little bit darker. Not that dark, though. Ooh, maybe these ones right here, actually. The Maria Hill attire. That might be perfect. And then I think he didn't wear any gloves or anything like that from what I recall. And then for the leggings, we want to go with something orange, which is, now that I think about it, a pretty rare color. There really isn't much to go off of. Ay. I'm realizing now orange is a pretty rare color. Do we even have orange leggings? All right, I guess we have that, which kind of works. The damage control design, that might be something that we could go for. Is there anything else? It would be nice if we had the little name tag type thing hanging off the leg, just like Emmet did, but I don't think there's anything like that here, especially in orange. So for orange leggings, we're kind of limited to just a few things. We have the bangle side, bangle legs. Then we have the Arnim Zola design. We have these ones right here, the damage control. We have the Curry design. Then we have bright orange, which I think might be what we go with, because that looks really, really nice. And then we also have these ones right down here, which is the leader ones. But I think those kind of look, maybe it's because of the hip piece, but they look kind of weird and kind of out of place, don't they? Okay, well, it does look a bit better now, now that we have that in place. And then for the torso, let's see. So for the torso, the obvious choice would be kind of to go for something maybe like this for like damage control, because I think that's the most obvious thing to pick. But I wonder if there's anything better. I wonder if there's anything that we could make work better for this. Okay. Keeping my eyes open for anything orange, pretty much, which, again, there isn't really much to work with. Ay. Kind of shocked by that. I don't know why. I genuinely thought, and I had the impression that there was a lot more to select from as far as the color orange goes, but clearly I was very, very wrong about that, because as I'm looking at this now, I'm realizing that there actually is very little to select as far as valid choice. Ooh, actually, there we go. I like that. That looks pretty nice, especially because Emmet had that like little pattern on his shirt. So I think that works. Oh, nope. Can't use those. Because it's got the logo on the side there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I wonder, maybe if we change... Okay, well, first of all, we need to change his weapon, obviously, to a hammer. So that would be a bit more fitting. And then I wonder if we change the legs to just orange, or maybe even this one right here, damage control orange. That's a bit better, actually. I kind of like that. Even though his, like, boots, they were still orange, I kind of like that because it kind of breaks up the flow, but I also want to see what just plain orange looks like. That looks really nice, too. Oh, man. Okay. Now it's kind of tough. Now it is sort of tough to decide which look to go for. I wish we could have that in orange. That would look really nice. What if we just went with regular orange? There we go. Ooh, okay. I think that that actually looks pretty sweet. I think that that is probably what we're going to stick with. Let me just take a look. Nope. Okay. Well, I think that that's probably a pretty good look for Emmet. Now, of course, again, we could use a hairpiece to make it more probably appropriate or more correct or more accurate instead of using the helmet, because the helmet is the wrong color. But I think we're going to stick with the helmet just because I really, really like the idea of using like different accessories that we haven't yet. So because of that, I think that we're going to stick with the Emmet look the way that he looks for now. All right, so let's make our way back on out from the helicarrier and take a look at the character designs that we came up with here for today, which will be Naya from, of course, Ninjago, and then Emmet from the Lego movie. So hopefully both characters look absolutely awesome, and I'm looking forward to see which one you guys actually like better or best of those two. So don't forget to vote for that. What's going on? I can't run up there? Okay, just running into place or in place. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys as to whether or not you liked Naya better or you like the Emmet design better. Plus, let me know what other characters you would like to see designed. Now that we are going to be done with the Ninjago characters, we can move on to a whole bunch more customs because I was trying to save the different spots for those characters so we can start doing a bunch more characters. Yes, I know that one of the most highly requested characters is Supergirl. I just don't know how we could possibly make a good looking character of Supergirl. Every time that we do an episode of customs, I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm pausing and in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking of the other characters that you guys have suggested. I'm like, okay, could we use maybe a piece like this or that? Like, I saw a really good hair piece that we could use for Supergirl, and obviously we could find a really good face and everything to use for her as well. But I just did not see any torso pieces or leg pieces that would work for that character, unless if we did like a non-costume design. So like maybe in like civilian clothing, if that's something that you guys would be okay with, let me know, because that would certainly be doable. So there you go. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and summon in the two characters that we designed here today. So here is Naya, who I think we made a good decision to go with the black hair and just a different hairstyle, because I think it's still somewhat similar. It's not completely off than the design that we saw before, and at the same time, at least we get the accurate hairstyle. I really like the torso that we chose. I think that that looks awesome. It looks really, really, really beautiful, and looks really, really cool for this character. And I like how we kind of mashed a couple of different looks for her together. And then, of course, it is time to summon in Emmet, who thinks that everything is awesome, so I'm sure that he will be very happy with the way that he turned out. Where is he? There's Emmet. So here's Emmet, ready to smash and bash his way to victory, which is really, really, really cool. The master builder known as Emmet has arrived, and he is ready to compete. Wow, he looks a lot more angry than I thought he would be. Whoa. Maybe it has something to do with the combat that he has going on here. Bam! Look at that. Lightning Storm Emmet, ready to rock and ready to roll. Everything is awesome, indeed. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. But speaking of part of the team, I hope that you guys are all a part of the Blitzwinger team. And of course, if you are, please don't forget to drop a like on this video. Let's go ahead and aim for 2,000 likes. Hopefully we can reach that goal. And on top of all that, of course, don't forget to leave what other characters you would like to see on upcoming episodes of Customs. As I said before, for those of you that are like, hey, do a video showcasing all the Ninjago characters, that will be coming up either tomorrow or the day after this video was uploaded. So I hope that you guys will check that out as well. Now we have the main characters done, except for Sensei Wu. But we'll leave him for another time. Nonetheless, thanks all for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, and I will hopefully catch all of you lovely, lovely folks here next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.